In a distant corner of the galaxy, where countless civilizations thrived and intermingled, there existed a network of repair stations that had become the talk of the cosmos. These stations were not just ordinary repair shops. They were the domain of human mechanics, renowned for their unparalleled expertise in fixing even the most complex and alien technologies. At the heart of one such station was Alex, a skilled mechanic whose reputation had spread far and wide. His keen eye for detail and innovative problem-solving abilities had earned him a loyal following among the diverse alien clientele that frequented the station. One day, as Alex was tinkering with a malfunctioning plasma core, an alien ship unlike any he had seen before docked at the station. The ship's captain, a tall, slender being with iridescent scales, approached Alex with a look of desperation on his face. "I have heard tales of your exceptional skills, human," the captain said, his voice laced with a melodic accent. "My ship has been plagued by a technical issue that has baffled the best mechanics across the galaxy. I have come to you as my last hope." Alex, intrigued by the challenge, eagerly accepted the job. As he boarded the alien vessel, he marveled at the strange and intricate technology that filled its corridors. The ship's engine room was a labyrinth of pulsating energy conduits and shimmering control panels, unlike anything he had encountered before. With a determined grin, Alex rolled up his sleeves and set to work. He carefully examined the ship's systems, his mind racing with possibilities as he tried to identify the root cause of the problem. Hours turned into days as he pored over schematics and ran countless diagnostics, his dedication never wavering. As news of Alex's undertaking spread, other alien ships began to flock to the repair station, each with its own unique set of technical woes. The station buzzed with activity as Alex and his team of skilled mechanics worked tirelessly to accommodate the influx of customers. Aliens of all shapes and sizes marveled at the humans' ability to comprehend and repair technologies that were light years beyond their own. They watched in awe as Alex and his team worked their magic, their hands moving with precision, and their minds always one step ahead of the problems they faced. Word of the human repair station's success soon reached the far corners of the galaxy, attracting the attention of even the most advanced civilizations. Ships that had been deemed irreparable by their own kind found new life under the care of Alex and his team. As the days turned into weeks, Alex found himself consumed by the challenges that each new ship brought. He thrived on the thrill of solving the unsolvable and the satisfaction of seeing the grateful faces of his alien clients. But even as he basked in his success, Alex knew that his work was far from over. With each repaired ship, he realized that he was not just fixing machines, but also bridging the gap between different species and cultures. He was a symbol of what humans could achieve when they put their minds to it, and he carried that responsibility with pride. As the alien captain prepared to depart, his ship fully restored and running better than ever, he turned to Alex with a look of gratitude. "You have saved not just my ship, but also the lives of my crew. Your skills are truly unmatched, human. I will spread the word of your expertise to all who will listen." Alex smiled, his heart swelling with pride. He knew that this was just the beginning of his journey, and that there would be countless more ships and challenges to come. But he was ready for it all, armed with his knowledge, his creativity, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. And so, as the alien ship disappeared into the vast expanse of space, Alex turned his attention to the next project, ready to tackle whatever the galaxy had in store for him and his team of extraordinary human mechanics. Alex, the skilled human mechanic, found himself face to face with the most challenging repair project of his career. The alien ship that had landed at his station was unlike anything he had ever seen before. Its sleek, iridescent hull seemed to shimmer and change color as he moved around it, and the technology within was so advanced that it made even the most cutting-edge human inventions look primitive in comparison. But Alex was not one to back down from a challenge. He had built his reputation on his ability to fix the unfixable, and he was determined to do just that with this alien vessel. With a determined grin, he grabbed his tools and set to work. As he delved deeper into the ship's systems, Alex realized that the problem was far more complex than he had initially thought. The ship's advanced technology was so foreign to him that he struggled to even understand how it worked, let alone how to fix it. But he refused to give up. Days turned into weeks as Alex worked tirelessly on the alien ship. He pored over ancient texts and consulted with experts from across the galaxy, trying to piece together the puzzle of the ship's inner workings. He barely slept, surviving on a steady diet of caffeine and sheer determination. Word of Alex's efforts soon spread throughout the galaxy, and other alien ships began to flock to his repair station, drawn by the promise of his unmatched expertise. The station became a hub of activity, with ships of all shapes and sizes docking in to seek out Alex's help. Despite the increasing workload, Alex remained focused on the task at hand. He knew that if he could just crack the code of this alien ship, it would open up a whole new world of possibilities for him and his team. Finally, after weeks of tireless effort, Alex had a breakthrough. He discovered a tiny, almost imperceptible flaw in the ship's quantum entanglement drive, a piece of technology so advanced that even the ship's own crew had overlooked it. With a few careful adjustments, Alex was able to bring the ship back to life, much to the amazement of the alien crew. As news of Alex's success spread, the alien ship's captain approached him with a proposition. The captain's people had been struggling with a similar problem on their homeworld, and they needed Alex's help to fix it. It was a daunting task, but Alex knew he couldn't refuse. With a team of his best mechanics in tow, Alex set off for the alien planet, ready to take on the greatest challenge of his career. As they arrived, they were greeted by a world unlike anything they had ever seen before. Towering spires of crystal, vast oceans of shimmering liquid, and technology so advanced that it seemed almost magical. But Alex and his team were not intimidated. They set to work immediately, using all of their skills and knowledge to tackle the problem at hand. It was a grueling task, filled with setbacks and challenges at every turn, but they refused to give up. As the days turned into weeks, Alex and his team slowly but surely began to make progress. They worked around the clock, fueled by a determination to succeed and a belief in their own abilities. And then, finally, they had a breakthrough. With a few final adjustments, they were able to bring the alien technology back to life, much to the amazement and gratitude of the alien people. As they prepared to return home, the alien captain approached Alex once again. "You have saved not just our ships, but our entire civilization," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "We will never forget what you have done for us." Alex smiled, his heart swelling with pride. He knew that this was just the beginning of his journey, and that there would be countless more challenges to come. But he was ready for it all, armed with his knowledge, his creativity, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. And so, as he and his team boarded their ship and set off for home, Alex knew that he had truly earned his place among the greatest mechanics in the galaxy. He was ready for whatever the future held, and he knew that he would always be there to help those in need, no matter how great the challenge. As Alex and his team of skilled mechanics worked tirelessly to repair the alien ships that flocked to their station, they soon realized that their job was far from easy. Each ship presented its own unique set of challenges, with technologies and languages that were vastly different from anything they had encountered before. But Alex was not one to be deterred by a challenge. He approached each ship with the same level of determination and creativity that had earned him his reputation as the best mechanic in the galaxy. He and his team worked around the clock, poring over schematics and manuals, trying to decipher the intricacies of each alien vessel. As the days turned into weeks, the repair station became a hub of activity. Ships of all shapes and sizes crowded the docks, their crews eager to have their vessels repaired by the legendary human mechanics. The air was filled with the hum of machinery and the chatter of countless alien languages as Alex and his team worked their magic. But with each successful repair, the challenges seemed to grow more daunting. Some ships had damage that seemed impossible to fix, with parts that were so badly mangled that even Alex was at a loss for how to proceed. Others had systems that were so advanced that even the most experienced mechanics on his team struggled to understand them. Despite the obstacles, Alex refused to give up. He knew that every ship that came to their station represented a chance to learn something new, to push the boundaries of what was possible. And so, he and his team pressed on, working longer and harder than ever before. As word of their successes spread throughout the galaxy, more and more ships began to arrive at the repair station. Some were massive cargo freighters, their hulls battered and scarred from years of travel through the stars. Others were sleek and nimble fighter craft, their weapon systems in need of delicate calibration. No matter the size or type of ship, Alex and his team approached each one with the same level of dedication and skill. They worked tirelessly, often going days without sleep, fueled by a passion for their craft and a desire to help those in need. As the weeks turned into months, Alex began to notice a change in the way the alien crews regarded him and his team. Where once there had been skepticism and mistrust, there was now a deep sense of respect and admiration. The aliens marveled at the way the human mechanics were able to solve problems that had stumped even the most advanced minds in the galaxy. For Alex, this was the ultimate reward. He had always known that he had a gift for mechanics, but to see it recognized and appreciated by beings from across the stars was a feeling unlike any other. He knew that he and his team were making a real difference in the lives of countless individuals, and that knowledge drove him to work even harder. As the reputation of the human repair station continued to grow, Alex knew that they would face even greater challenges in the future. But he also knew that he and his team were up to the task. They had the skills, the determination, and the creativity to tackle any problem that came their way. And so, as the ships continued to arrive at the station, Alex and his team met each one with a smile and a wrench, ready to take on whatever the galaxy had in store for them. They knew that they were part of something bigger than themselves, something that had the power to bring people together from across the stars. As Alex looked out over the bustling repair station, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He knew that he and his team were making history, one repair at a time. And he knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united by their love of mechanics and their commitment to helping those in need. As Alex and his team were basking in the success of their repair station, an unexpected visitor arrived. A sleek black ship with an unfamiliar insignia landed on the docking bay, and a tall, imposing alien with deep purple skin and piercing yellow eyes stepped out. The alien introduced himself as Ambassador Zortax from the Galactic Federation, and he had a special request for Alex and his team. Ambassador Zortax explained that the Galactic Federation had been monitoring the success of the human repair station, and they were impressed with the skill and expertise of Alex and his team. They had a highly classified and challenging repair project that required the best mechanics in the galaxy, and they believed that Alex and his team were the only ones who could handle it. Alex was intrigued by the offer, but also cautious. He knew that taking on a classified project for the Galactic Federation could be risky, but he also knew that it was an opportunity to push the boundaries of what was possible and to make a real difference in the galaxy. After careful consideration and discussion with his team, Alex accepted the offer. Ambassador Zortax provided them with the coordinates to a secret location on a distant planet where the repair project would take place. As Alex and his team prepared for the mission, they couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation. They knew that this project would be unlike anything they had ever done before, and they were eager to prove themselves on a galactic stage. When they arrived at the secret location, they were shocked by what they saw. The planet was a barren wasteland, with no signs of life or civilization. But in the middle of the desolation stood a massive, gleaming structure that seemed to defy the laws of physics. As they approached the structure, they were greeted by a team of Galactic Federation scientists and engineers. They explained that the structure was a highly advanced piece of technology that had been damaged during a recent conflict, and that it was critical to the safety and security of the galaxy. Alex and his team set to work immediately, poring over the schematics and manuals provided by the Galactic Federation. The technology was unlike anything they had ever seen before, with quantum processors and dark matter reactors that seemed to bend the very fabric of space and time. As they worked, they encountered numerous challenges and setbacks. The damage to the structure was extensive, and the technology was so advanced that even the most experienced mechanics on the team struggled to understand it. But Alex refused to give up. He knew that the fate of the galaxy rested on their success, and he was determined to see the project through to the end. As the days turned into weeks, Alex and his team worked tirelessly to repair the structure. They barely slept, surviving on a steady diet of caffeine and determination. But slowly, piece by piece, they began to make progress. As they neared the end of the project, they encountered a new challenge. A rival alien faction had learned of the repair project and had sent a team of saboteurs to destroy the structure and prevent the Galactic Federation from completing their mission. Alex and his team found themselves in the middle of a dangerous conflict, with laser blasts and explosions rocking the structure. But they refused to abandon their work, knowing that the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. In a daring move, Alex and his team split up, with half of them working to complete the repairs while the other half fought off the saboteurs. It was a desperate battle, but in the end, they emerged victorious. As the last piece of the structure fell into place, Alex and his team stood back and admired their work. The structure hummed with power, its quantum processors and dark matter reactors working in perfect harmony. Ambassador Zortax arrived shortly after, his face beaming with pride and gratitude. He congratulated Alex and his team on their success and informed them that their work had saved countless lives across the galaxy. As they prepared to leave the planet and return to their repair station, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. He knew that he and his team had just completed the most challenging and important project of their careers, and that they had truly earned their place as the best mechanics in the galaxy. After their successful mission for the Galactic Federation, Alex and his team returned to their repair station as heroes. Word of their incredible feat had spread throughout the galaxy, and they were greeted with cheers and applause from the alien crews whose ships were docked at the station. The team basked in their success, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. He had noticed some odd behavior from the rival faction during their mission, and he couldn't help but wonder if there was more to the story than met the eye. As he dug deeper, Alex discovered a disturbing truth. The rival faction had been working to undermine human repair stations across the galaxy, spreading rumors and sabotaging equipment in an effort to drive business away from the humans and towards their own repair facilities. Alex knew that he couldn't let this stand. The human repair stations had become a symbol of hope and unity in the galaxy, a place where beings from all corners of the universe could come together and find common ground. He couldn't let a few bad actors destroy that legacy. He gathered his team and shared his findings with them. They were shocked and angry, but also determined to do something about it. They knew that they couldn't take on the rival faction alone, but they also knew that they had allies across the galaxy who would stand with them. Alex reached out to Ambassador Zortax and the Galactic Federation, sharing his evidence and asking for their help. The Federation was hesitant at first, not wanting to get involved in what they saw as a local dispute. But as more and more evidence came to light, they realized that they couldn't ignore the threat any longer. Together, Alex and his team, along with the Galactic Federation and a coalition of alien allies, launched an investigation into the rival faction's activities. They uncovered a vast network of corruption and deceit, with the rival faction using every dirty trick in the book to gain an advantage over their competitors. As the evidence mounted, the rival faction became increasingly desperate. They launched a series of attacks against the human repair stations, hoping to destroy the evidence and silence anyone who might speak out against them. But Alex and his team were ready for them. They had been preparing for this moment, and they had a plan in place to defend their stations and their allies. The battle was fierce, with the rival faction throwing everything they had at the humans and their allies. But in the end, the truth prevailed. The rival faction was exposed and brought to justice, and the human repair stations emerged stronger than ever. As the dust settled, Alex and his team took a moment to reflect on everything that had happened. They had started out as a small group of mechanics, just trying to do their job and help those in need. But now, they had become something more. They had become a symbol of hope and unity in the galaxy, a beacon of light in the darkness. As they looked out over their repair station, bustling with activity and filled with beings from all corners of the universe, they knew that they had made a difference. They had shown the galaxy that humans were more than just skilled mechanics. They were a force for good, a force for change. And as they set to work on their next project, ready to take on whatever challenges the galaxy might throw their way, Alex and his team knew that they were ready for anything. They had each other, and they had the support of the entire galaxy behind them. Together, they could face any obstacle, overcome any challenge, and make the universe a better place, one repair at a time. Alex and his team knew that they couldn't rest on their laurels after their victory over the rival faction. They had uncovered a plot that threatened the very existence of human repair stations throughout the galaxy, and they knew that they had to act fast to stop it. With the help of their alien allies and the Galactic Federation, they began to piece together the full extent of the rival faction's plans. They discovered that the faction had been secretly building a massive fleet of ships, equipped with advanced weapons and cloaking technology that would allow them to strike at human repair stations without warning. The team knew that they had to act fast to stop this threat before it was too late. They began to formulate a plan to infiltrate the rival faction's headquarters and gather the evidence they needed to expose their plot to the galaxy. It was a risky mission, but Alex and his team were determined to see it through. They knew that the fate of countless lives hung in the balance, and they were willing to put everything on the line to protect them. As they made their way to the rival faction's headquarters, they encountered numerous obstacles and challenges. The faction had set up a complex network of defenses and security measures designed to keep out any intruders. But Alex and his team were not to be deterred. They used every skill and tool at their disposal to overcome each obstacle, relying on their ingenuity and determination to see them through. As they finally reached the heart of the rival faction's operation, they were shocked by what they found. The faction had been secretly developing a new type of weapon, one that could target and destroy human repair stations with pinpoint accuracy. The team knew that they had to act fast to prevent this weapon from being used. They began to gather evidence and data, taking photos and videos of the weapon and its schematics. But as they were about to make their escape, they were confronted by the leader of the rival faction. The alien was a formidable opponent with years of combat experience and a deep hatred for humans. A fierce battle ensued, with Alex and his team fighting for their lives against the rival faction's forces. They used every weapon and tactic at their disposal, but the enemy seemed to have the upper hand. Just as all seemed lost, Alex had a flash of inspiration. He realized that the rival faction's weapon relied on a specific frequency to target human repair stations. If they could disrupt that frequency, the weapon would be useless. With renewed determination, Alex and his team fought their way to the weapon's control room. They worked together seamlessly, each member of the team using their unique skills and abilities to overcome the challenges in their way. Finally, they reached the control room and began to work on disrupting the weapon's frequency. It was a delicate operation, requiring precision and skill, but they knew that they had no choice but to succeed. As they worked, the rival faction's forces closed in on them. They could hear the sound of weapons fire and explosions getting closer and closer. But just as the enemy was about to break through the door, Alex and his team succeeded in disrupting the weapon's frequency. The rival faction's leader let out a howl of rage as he realized that his plans had been foiled. With the weapon disabled and the evidence in hand, Alex and his team made their escape. They fought their way out of the rival faction's headquarters, relying on each other and their alien allies to see them through. As they emerged victorious, they knew that they had struck a blow against the rival faction that they would never forget. They had exposed their plot and prevented a terrible weapon from being used against innocent lives. But even as they celebrated their victory, Alex and his team knew that their work was far from over. They had won the battle, but the war against those who would threaten the peace and stability of the galaxy was just beginning, and they would be ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their determination to protect the innocent and preserve the legacy of human repair stations throughout the universe. With the evidence of the rival faction's nefarious plot in hand, Alex and his team knew that they had to act quickly to prevent any further damage to the human repair stations scattered throughout the galaxy. They decided to split into two groups. One would work on analyzing the data they had gathered and developing a plan to counter the rival faction schemes, while the other would focus on strengthening the defenses of the repair stations themselves. As the first group pored over the schematics and documents they had retrieved from the rival faction's headquarters, they began to uncover the true depth of the conspiracy. The faction had been working for years to undermine the reputation of human mechanics, secretly sabotaging ships and spreading false rumors in an effort to drive business away from the repair stations and towards their own facilities. But now, armed with this knowledge, Alex and his team were determined to turn the tables on their enemies. They'd reached out to their contacts in the Galactic Federation and other allied species, sharing what they had learned and urging them to take action against the rival faction. Meanwhile, the second group was hard at work bolstering the defenses of the human repair stations. They knew that the rival faction would not take their defeat lying down, and that they would likely try to strike back at the stations in retaliation. To prevent this, Alex and his team worked tirelessly to upgrade the station's security systems and defensive capabilities. They installed state-of-the-art shields and weapons and trained the station personnel in advanced combat techniques to help them fend off any attacks. As the days turned into weeks, the two groups continued their efforts, working around the clock to stay one step ahead of their enemies. They faced numerous challenges and setbacks along the way, but they refused to give up, knowing that the fate of countless lives depended on their success. Finally, after months of hard work and dedication, they were ready to put their plan into action. They had developed a comprehensive strategy to expose the rival faction's misdeeds to the entire galaxy, using a combination of hard evidence, eyewitness accounts, and sophisticated data analysis to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the faction had been working to undermine the human repair stations for their own gain. At the same time, they had fortified the stations themselves to the point where they were virtually impregnable, capable of withstanding even the most determined attacks from their enemies. With everything in place, Alex and his team launched their final assault against the rival faction. They released their evidence to the public in a massive data dump, flooding the galactic news networks with irrefutable proof of the faction's guilt. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The Galactic Federation, along with countless other species and organizations, condemned the rival faction and demanded that they be held accountable for their crimes. The faction's leaders were arrested and brought to trial, while their assets were seized and their operations shut down. At the same time, the human repair stations, now stronger and more secure than ever, saw a surge in business as ships from all corners of the galaxy flocked to them for repairs and maintenance. The stations had become a symbol of resilience and integrity in the face of adversity, and their reputation had never been higher. As Alex and his team watched the fruits of their labors unfold, they couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. They had taken on a seemingly impossible challenge and emerged victorious, thanks to their skill, determination, and unwavering commitment to justice. But even as they basked in the glow of their success, they knew that their work was far from over. There would always be those who sought to exploit and undermine others for their own gain, and it would fall to people like Alex and his team to stand up and fight back against them. And so, as they looked to the future, they did so with a renewed sense of purpose and resolve. They had shown the galaxy what humans were capable of when they worked together towards a common goal, and they knew that they would continue to do so, no matter what challenges lay ahead. For they were the guardians of the galaxy's repair stations, and they would never rest until every ship in the universe had access to the skilled hands and unmatched expertise of human mechanics. In the aftermath of their triumphant victory over the rival faction, Alex and his team found themselves at the center of a galaxy-wide celebration. News of their heroic efforts had spread like wildfire, and everywhere they went, they were greeted with cheers, applause, and expressions of gratitude from the countless beings whose lives they had touched. As they returned to their repair station, they were met with a sight that took their breath away. Ships of every size and description were lined up as far as the eye could see, waiting for their turn to be serviced by the legendary human mechanics. The station was buzzing with activity, as crews from all corners of the galaxy worked side by side to keep the ships running smoothly. For Alex, it was a moment of profound pride and satisfaction. He had always known that he and his team were the best at what they did, but to see their skills and expertise recognized on such a grand scale was truly humbling. As he walked through the station, he was approached by representatives from the Galactic Federation, who had come to offer their formal thanks and congratulations. They presented him with a Medal of Honor, the highest award that the Federation could bestow, in recognition of his tireless efforts to protect and serve the galaxy. Alex accepted the medal with a sense of deep gratitude, knowing that it represented not just his own achievements, but those of his entire team. He looked around at the faces of his colleagues, seeing in them the same dedication, skill, and compassion that had brought them to this moment. In the days and weeks that followed, Alex and his team found themselves in high demand. As word of their exploits continued to spread, they were invited to speak at conferences and symposiums across the galaxy, sharing their knowledge and expertise with eager audiences of mechanics and engineers. They also became the go-to team for the most challenging and complex repair jobs, taking on projects that would have daunted even the most experienced mechanics. But no matter how difficult the task, they approached it with the same determination and creativity that had served them so well in the past. As the years passed, Alex began to reflect on the incredible journey that had brought him to this point. He thought back to his early days as a mechanic, working on simple engines and machinery, never dreaming that he would one day be responsible for the safety and well-being of an entire galaxy. He thought about the challenges he had faced along the way, the obstacles he had overcome, and the bonds of friendship and loyalty that had sustained him through it all. And he realized that, in the end, it was those bonds that truly mattered most. For Alex and his team, their greatest achievement was not the ships they had repaired or the accolades they had received, but the sense of purpose and camaraderie that they had forged together. They had become more than just colleagues or friends. They were a family, united by a shared commitment to excellence and a deep love for their craft. And as they looked to the future, they knew that this family would endure, no matter what challenges lay ahead. They would continue to push the boundaries of what was possible, to explore new frontiers and take on new challenges, always striving to be the best at what they did. For they were more than just mechanics. They were the guardians of the galaxy, the protectors of the ships and crews that traversed the vast expanse of space. And as long as there were ships to be repaired and beings to be helped, they would be there, ready and willing to lend their unmatched expertise to all who needed it. As Alex stood on the observation deck of the repair station, looking out at the stars and the ships that danced among them, he felt a sense of deep contentment and purpose wash over him. He knew that he and his team had made a difference, that they had left their mark on the galaxy in a way that would never be forgotten. And with that knowledge, he smiled, ready to face whatever the future might bring, secure in the knowledge that he and his team would always be there. The unmatched experts, the legends of the galaxy's repair stations.